This would have been a lovely session webinar, and this could be a time when you could be probably watching a movie on Netflix, but it's a great start to see you join a place where you can learn something new. And most of us are celebrating the new year today. So I'd like to believe that today is a great day to start something new. And the first thing about starting something new is to learn something new. So I'm pretty sure that there will be a takeaway from this webinar, and your 40 minutes is going to be really productive. And as Ketan already mentioned, I've had a great association with Divine Hub Co-working Space, and they are based out of Mumbai, and they're doing a lovely set of webinars, and I'm grateful to be part of one of them. And if you can hear me, can you please, I really want each one of you to type "I can" in the chat box, because that is one thought we're going to hold on to throughout this webinar. I believe that you can, and I want you to come here and sit with the mentality that you can. That's the only expectation throughout this presentation, and it's a very tight, you've seen the topics, it's a very tight presentation. We have 40 minutes and we're going to talk about not just textual things. These are from my experience, and I hope that that's useful to you. And these are things that they teach at, not really things that I teach at MBA over 3 years. This is going to be something that has come from somebody's experience. So I definitely hope that this makes a difference to you. And let's start. With your permission.
Yes, please go ahead, Meena.
Yes, this is our topic is Entrepreneurship 101 for Women. And with your permission, I'm going to introduce myself and a little bit about my journey so you can understand what my background is. And my life journey, I would like to say that it's divided into two parts. One is the life before entrepreneurship and the one after entrepreneurship, because that's how it's divided into. And I did my schooling in Trivandrum, Kerala, and I did my undergraduation in Bachelor of Fashion Technology from Assumption College, Changashiri. And I went on to do a postgraduate degree in fashion merchandising, that's into numbers. So I learned about stocking, like knowing what categories should be stocked in, what according to a certain budget. That I did it at Pearl Academy of Fashion, Chennai. And I worked with Fab India for 1 year as a merchandiser. And I worked in Esprit in Bangalore as an assistant manager. And later, I spent 4 years with Genesis Luxury, handling their store called Luxfox, handling the brands Canali, Armani Jeans, Tumi, Paul Smith, and Furla. After that, in 2015, towards the end, I founded Artery. Artery is an online jewelry store, and we also sell scarves. And so far, we've done more than 60 exhibitions offline. So it's an online and an offline business. And last year, I co-founded Artswave with my mother, Mariam Jacob. And good part is that I'm also starting my new blog, Beforement. So I'm at the same level as all of us are right now, thinking of a new business and how to start. Moving on, as you've already seen before joining the webinar, the contents, we're going to quickly cover finding your business idea, creating a business plan, building your brand, managing finances, avoiding common pitfalls. Let's start with finding your business idea. How many of you already have a business? Just say I have in the chat. Great. And how many of you are thinking of having a business or starting somewhere? This webinar is also to go back, and you can keep going back to these 5 points again and again, even if you have a business. So how to take it to the next level. So there are a lot of things in this particular presentation that you can go back to and improve or take your business scale up your business, and if you're looking to start a business. Yeah. First thing is finding your business idea. How do you find your business idea? If I could tell you that over the screen, it's going to be easy for everybody to do it. And if I tell you at the end of this presentation, you will be finding a business idea, that's going to be difficult too. Some of you can have it just like that in a minute. Some of you, it might take months, it might take years. That's absolutely fine. I'm giving you a technique on how to find your business idea. First thing, take a piece of paper or take a big chart paper, stick it on your wall and just scribble. Just keep that thought coming. What do you love doing? There are so many things, like if you tell me, I love travel, I love talking to people, I'm good at, there's so many people, so many things that you love. Make sure that you write down. It makes a lot of difference to actually write down these thoughts. So I absolutely urge you to write down what do you love doing. Second thing is, what are you good at doing? I love food. What if I cannot cook? I don't know a recipe. If you take the example of Beforement, I love food. I love trying new cuisines. And what am I good at doing? I'm great at cooking. So that's an example on writing what are you good at doing. That's two things. If you have jotted down these 2 points, make sure there is a white space in between these two and see that is there a possibility to sell something in that idea. And last thing is to understand your niche. Everybody throws this word around niche, but do you really understand what the niche of your brand is? If you already have a brand, take down these 4 points and go through and write down what do you love doing. Because in most cases, we're going to be doing this for the rest of our life. So it has to be something which you absolutely love doing, what you're great at doing, what you can sell, and what your niche is. To identify your niche, you have to know your audience and you have to know that you're going to cater, your brand is going to be for a very specific place in the market. So how do you do that? Let's say my audience, they are women. If I say my audience is women, it's a wide category. If I say my audience is in India, that's still filtered. If I want to filter it to women who are in, okay, let's say I'm great at fitness. So fitness is my broad category. Then I can break it down into fitness. Under fitness, I love yoga. You know, for example, if I love yoga, that's still, how many yoga instructors do you find in your community? There are so many of them. How can you be the one that that particular client is coming to pick, you know? So yoga can be one category, but you'll further filter it down to yoga for women. I don't want men coming to my yoga class. I only want women coming to my yoga class. That's still filtering it down to one category. And what is the last thing? Under yoga, there are so many things. I'm talking about fitness, yoga, yoga for women, and then let's say yoga for pregnant women. So that becomes a very well-defined niche. And once you have all these points written, revisited many times, then you get your idea. And I'm not saying that it comes easily to you. It's very difficult for that idea. There are so many people who have the money and capital to invest in a business, but they don't have an idea. So you have to do this exercise repeatedly. That's when you'll get your idea. And look within and look outside, because finding your business idea, it's a complete process. Sometimes, you know, I used to journal as a child. I had a diary, and that's something that's stuck on till now. I have a to-do book. I have multiple books that I write different things in. Whenever I get an idea, I write it down, and that's my way of doing it. That's my technique. An idea could come to you maybe when you're meditating, when you're driving, when you're, you know, chopping vegetables, something day to day that you're doing. That's when an idea can strike. But what you need to do is that immediately when you get that spark, write it down and try to connect all these dots together. Keep writing down a new idea. And for example, you know, when when we do laundry, the pair of the socks goes missing all the time, and I have difficulty finding the pair of the sock. And then what I realized that now I've started pinning the socks together before the laundry goes into the machine. That is $1 million idea right there. You know, you can sell us, come up with a sample, come up with an idea of selling socks clips. So just keep writing. That's not something that I can sell under artery, so I've never pursued that. But there are like hundreds of ideas that I can actually pursue. And then moving on, this is also a process of self-discovery. So I need to take time out. Every Monday morning, I am at a cafe with my, not when I'm on lockdown, but otherwise I am there at a cafe with my coffee, with my book, planning my week, thinking of things to do. How can I catch up with the rest of the world? How can I build my business? How can I make a difference to the world? I'm constantly sitting. That's my way of, that's my time when the ideas come. Find what really excites you and find that space where you'll actually find your idea. Moving on to creating a business plan. Well, that's a difficult one because when I wanted to start a business, I started Googling out, I want to create a business plan, and I was looking for a template. Well, that sounded very difficult, and everything was so like there are so many of these columns, a lot of these terms and jargons I never understood. But I felt that I understood business. That doesn't mean I need to put my plan into a typical template of a business plan. When I say this, I'm simply making it easy for you to understand. Just 4 things that you need to know. These has to be well thought of before making a business plan. What I had the privilege of doing this particular exhibition in Palakkad in Kerala, and there was a lady who came from Calicut. She was probably in her 50s, and she came on her own from Calicut in a bus, and she brought these vessels with her. And that early morning, she prepared Malabar delicacies, and she put up a small table stall with very little investment and started selling snacks and juices in that day and second day and third day. End of the third day, her biggest worry was like, I made 1 lakh rupees. How am I going to take this back in a bus, you know? So if I ask her to fill this particular business plan template, she's not going to know it. But that doesn't mean that she doesn't know how to do business. So please don't get intimidated by the fact that you don't understand these jargons and you don't understand a template by heart. First thing you need to know is you have to understand your customer. How do you understand your customer? You have to, your customer base should be defined to the extent where you know that person as a friend. This particular person has a certain age group, they live in a certain type of society, this is the area where they stay, these are their hobbies, these are their interests. For example, how did you come to know about this particular webinar? Some of you reached out, some of you saw it on a page that you follow, some of you heard it from a friend. So this is exactly, how did I reach to you? For you to come join this, you had a particular need and I had the solution to that need, and you actually we found each other. So understand your customer. Second thing you need to know is if you're going to be a product or a service. For example, Artery, my jewelry brand, is a product. That is, I am selling product in numbers. If I'm starting to consult for entrepreneurship, that's a service that you're rendering. So you need to know that it's a product or a service. Next thing is that you need to know what is the cost or how much is it going to make that particular product. What would you do? What all goes into that thing? There's packaging, there's salary, there's, sorry, not salary, for making the product. That is, if you have a vendor, if you're going to, how are you going to ship it, you know, packaging and all these things, logistics, everything comes together under cost to make it. And if it's a service, what are you going, the time that you've invested in writing a book, or the data that you're going to give it to somebody, or you're going to share the experience, that is service. And the last thing is, what can you sell it for? this is a very important thing. Two things you can do is, one, you understand the market. Let's say I'm selling oranges. What is orange sold at? Now, if I'm selling oranges at 40 rupees and someone else is selling it as 30, how do I justify my 40 rupees? Is it an organic orange, or am I delivering it to you? So that particular difference that you make from your competition, it has to be well justified. Another thing is that you need to, like, for example, you have to be in the customer's shoe and understand if they are willing to pay for that particular, are you ready to pay that kind of price for that particular product? And if it's not justified, then go back and rework on your costing. See what is adding too much cost to that particular product. That is one thing where you can work backwards. For example, archery has different categories, and I don't flatly put a markup on all my categories and say that cost plus certain markup and my expenses, my overheads is going to give me my MRP. No, there are categories where I make very little margin, but there are categories where I make a lot of margin. So you have to also work backwards from the price and see this up and down in this. Okay. Before we move to the next point, should I slow down? Is there something that I have to go back on? Is there something that I missed? You can send it in the chat. Okay, great. And great if you can just write down there's nothing that helps you register something in your head than actually writing it down. Remember how we used to write in precision? Exactly. So just write these captions down, and you can always reach out to me for, if you need the points, and if you want like a workbook, I'm always there to help you. We'll quickly move to building your brand. Well, this is my favorite part because that's where I put a lot of effort, and I think that's my key area where I specialize in when we started Artery. Your brand is going to be an extension of your product or service. And when I say that, if I go to, let's say, I'm always seen in my jewelry. That's something. And as a brand, what do you like for Artery is not just about products. It's also about something that you have to say, that is empowerment, a place where you can express yourself. So what I'm saying is that there should be you as an entrepreneur who's constantly trying to portray, or you are that particular personality, which is your brand, and it's not just a product. It's also a story that you're telling. It's also a community. So let's say this is a space for women to express themselves. People express themselves through emotions, through dance, through singing. Here, I'm very passionate about empowering women. I work with women. Most of my vendors are women. Most of my employees are women. All my customers are women. And why do these women come? They come and join Artery, or they stick to Artery for that particular reason, which is they relate to the fact that women are supported here. They relate to the fact that this is a place where there's a lot of confidence. There are a lot of people who, are not willing to share the picture of themselves. They say, don't post my picture on your social media. But later they'll come back to me and say that, listen, I wore your particular jewelry to an event and I got a lot of compliments, and they feel happy. And that's where they come together as a community, and they're always there for each other. There's constant shout outs given to pages. They are supporting a new business. Then my followers like to follow that. So there's always this women-led, strong women community where we express each other in a safe environment. That is Artery. And the entrepreneur is the brand. I've never had an exhibition that I have not been, like, I've been in all 60 exhibitions. As simple as my putting up a banner, I'm always there at my exhibitions. So people relate to me without even reading my brand. If they see me at an exhibition, they know Artery is there. So the entrepreneur should be the walking, talking ambassador of the brand. And define a visual identity. It's very important to name your brand as soon as you have a business plan. Artery. When you keep saying that repeatedly, you have. Why do you name a child when it's born? So that they start resonating with it. Treat it like a living entity, because you are building something like a person and developing a personality and character around it. So it's very important, as soon as you create your business plan, name the brand. The logo should have a story, or if you have a tagline, there should be some sort of connection between the logo and the story and everything. Imagine a mood board. There's a mood board. I'm going to go for a brand which is completely bold and out there, or I could do a very minimalist approach to it. Everything has a unique story, so build a story completely. Kind of font that you're going to use, the kind of packaging that you're going to use. Imagine that you're gifting somebody something. How would you want to gift it to that person? You'll take effort to pack it. You will be very sure as to what goes into it. There's maybe a ribbon on it, or there's the branding. You put in a personalized note with your name and who it's coming from. So just think of it as a wrapping up a gift. That's how the product should reach the customer. And next thing is promoting your brand. First and foremost, you have to know how to market your brand. This is very important. Marketing, you might have great products and you have it at home. How do you reach this particular product or service out to a client? You need to be excellent at sales. You cannot define entrepreneurship without using the words sales and marketing. Very important that you need to know how to market. Maybe I'm not saying you need to know everything about sales and marketing, and you can be a great salesman, but that doesn't mean you need to know English. If you want to promote it to somebody speaking a native language, you can do it in your native language. That's completely different from saying that you need to know sales and marketing. Sales is completely different, and you have to have a very deep connection, and you have to be very personal. What happens is, as the brand grows, you kind of forget, when you're in the rush to reach to new clients, you forget that you have repeat clients to be connected to. You have to constantly know them, know what's happening in their life. And it's very different from bombarding them with, okay, you purchase something, I'm sending you 5 emailers, my work is done. It's absolutely not like that. Even if I'm sending out an email, that has to be personalized. It's only to inform. There's always going to be a takeaway for the client. I'm not constantly dumping pictures of my products with the price to you. That's me trying to sell. What you need to do by marketing is to make them feel like they are getting something out of it. They need to benefit from what we are selling, if it's a product or a service. And for example, today, I attended a 19 minutes webinar on Instagram marketing. If I sat back and decided that, wait, I know Instagram marketing and I don't need to know, that's not the way. I need to constantly keep Instagram marketing today, and 10 days from now, it's a different algorithm altogether. You constantly need to learn and upgrade yourself. That's why you have to also listen to the client, take feedback. They're not always trying to put you down. They always give you feedback, and sometimes it can be bad. It's something that it's not even your mistake, something that you missed out, and the client is pointing it out to you. Be accepting of that and make that change. Moving on to the fourth part. Before we start the fourth part, there is one thing that I really want to, it's something personal. Not having money shouldn't stop you from chasing your dreams. There are so many people without ideas and having money. You have the idea and the money will definitely come. You have to definitely look at, there are so many people who wants to fund your idea. You have to be convincing. You have to make sure this is a plan that's going to work. And I don't want anybody, and there is no age to start. You can start today. You can start at any age. So that is something which I want to introduce before. I just want to put it in your mind before, be a money magnet. Can you type MM in the chat? How many of you want to be a money magnet? MM in the chat. All of us want to be money magnets, right? Great. First and foremost, you have to know that you are a business. You're not a person, you are a business, and never forget it. There should be consistency, and nothing should, you shouldn't forget the fact that whatever happens around it, it's still a business. And what does the business give you? Money, right? You have to be successful. It has to be a successful business that gives you money. Never forget this. That's a statement. Just write it down. Never forget that you're a business. And that's the first and important thing of doing a business. And have a budget. It's absolutely okay to start small. Great if you're getting investments. That's perfect because somebody believes in your dream. But it's okay to start at I started with 30,000 rupees from my savings from a job that I had quit just about 3 months before I started artery. And that 30,000 in 3 months became 60,000. And that was my start almost 5 years ago. So, and know your cost. When you say one product or the sample or the prototype in case of a product, or if it's a service, know your cost. Whatever goes, brainstorm everything that you can possibly think of, including paper, stationery. Just write everything and know your cost of the product and work backwards. Now you have a goal and you want to make a certain amount of money. Then you need to know, just forecast your cost also along with the goal forecast. That is, I want to make 1 lakh a month. If I want to do that, I need to know that this is the amount I'm going to spend. Let's say you have, when I multiply 10%, I want to do better in the next month. My cost should also be made sure that your budget is covering your costs. Next thing is, you have to be sales obsessed and not cost obsessed, because what you need to do is that the moment you start cutting out on the cost, that's not the way forward. You should always try to improve your sales than cutting down on the cost. And the most important thing is make money before you spend it. Like, you might have the money to start something, or you might be taking a loan, or there might be an investor. That's absolutely fine. But make sure that the money is spent with priority. Whatever you need to do, you're going to prioritize it. So make sure that that money is going to come with an interest the next month. Is that covered? How are you going to cover it? With improving sales. So make sure that that pattern is followed. Another thing is that okay, and it's absolutely okay. Now, this is one place where I remember when I worked in my first job, I didn't know how to go deposit a check. My salary came as a check. And at that moment, I didn't even know how to go to a bank. And my father actually took me to the bank and created an account. And then that's how I started going to. I was not even confident to go and talk to them. It's fine. This is one area that you can take expert advice. You can have a consultant helping you do this. You can have a chartered accountant helping you do this. It's absolutely fine. So, are we ready to be a money magnet? Yes? Great. And before we start that, I'm also a little, kind of a sucker for manifesting what I believe in. Write down the amount that what is your goal? Write it down and look at it and focus and see see where you see yourself, see where you're. I have, um, you know, I've had a visual of me talking to a lot of people, wearing my jacket and addressing a crowd. It's come true for me, and it's not because I'm doing other things, but I think I've seen this visual. This is like a deja vu for me. I've seen this happen, and it's happening to me. So I just hold on to that thought and be positive. Never get self doubt in the way of your dreams. And avoid common pitfalls. We'll move to the last session, and then I'll take questions. I think it's already 5:40. Okay. Um, this is out here, begin on the screen, just to show you that that's how important it is. Never run out of money. Let's say I had the 30,000 rupees, and I know I have to trademark my brand, and I have to spend about 10,000 on trademarking my brand. But when I start my business, is that my first priority? Will I trademark it, taking the 10,000 and then start making it work? No. So I will do it. It is a priority, but it will take a back step. And once I make the money, and then I can add trademarking to my kitty, then I will do it. So always plan your budget and prioritize what you're going to use your money on. Even if you have an investment, don't always get the money back and then only spend. And constant comparison. This is one thing where a lot of us make mistakes. And I don't want you to go and see your competitor and do what exactly your competitor is doing. You can watch your competition for one reason, not to see how similar you are. You have to know how different you are. That's when the other customers are going to come to you. I have a lot of, I've seen people try to be some. The easiest thing for you to do is be yourself. If you ask me to copy somebody and speak like, um, a Neil Patel doing a digital guru, I cannot do that. I can only be the best version of Minu Mary Matthew, and that's what I'm trying to do. This constant comparison should be, your journey should be your unique journey. And sometimes I I'm doing something and people follow me and they start doing what I do, and then I get them off track and I start doing something completely different. So you are always in a chase. You're constantly chasing your competition, and then you are lost. Instead, it has to be your idea. It has to be your plan. And keep moving, constantly watch your trends, declutter all your distractions. Don't be on all those groups. Don't be, keep a set time for your social media. Use your social media and utilize all your resources. Keep reading, keep using the internet for the good. There's so much to learn. Every day, make sure that you're learning one thing from your industry, and make sure that you're trying to implement that one. Make that change. If you don't know how to do it, reach out to somebody who's an expert in that field. Be in the company of people who inspire you. Don't go to people who are constantly trying to crush your dreams. Just constantly keep learning and keep moving and adapt to the market and evolve. And you need to refocus. And refocus is like 5 years into a brand. Sometimes you say that they're just staying at that same level. What do you do to reinvent your goals? The first 4 points, you keep revisiting that, and then you reinvent your goal. And never be a one-woman army. This is something I've learned the hard way, because initially when you start, you want to do everything on your own. And that's great. When a brand is new, you have to know and understand, you have to be the face, somebody who's taking feedback. You really need to know every part of your journey. But as you grow, you need to learn how to delegate. And the best example is that I started learning everything on my own, and I decided that I'm constantly even spending time on packing and sending a courier out, and it's not giving me enough time to build my brand. And if I'm not building my brand, I'm not going to get these orders. So if I want to take some things off from my to-do list, I need to help the support of experts. And in that process, you're also empowering and you're giving more opportunities for youngsters and people to work. So it's absolutely fine to delegate as you grow. And the biggest or the most important thing is to stay humble, because nothing feels like success. You can't get success to your head. If my goal was to get 5,000 followers on Instagram, and I've achieved my 5,000 followers on Instagram, and I'm basking in the glory of my 5,000 followers, everybody is going forward and you're just there. It's very important to stay humble and stay focused on your goal, and that's something that can completely distract you and deviate you from the path that you're supposed to do. Yeah. And we come to the end of the session, and I think we're going to take some questions and answers. I'm very open to feedback. I'd really appreciate if you can give your honest feedback. And I don't want, there should be a takeaway from this session, and I want all of you to interact.
Thank you, Meenu. Thank you very much. This was very inspiring, very exciting. I specifically like that that section where you said you don't need money to to start business, because we see Divine Hub is, as I said, because we're a co-working space and we've got heaps of startups and heaps of entrepreneurs working out of Divine Hub, and we talk to them about they keep telling us the struggle that they're facing to raise funds or to have enough resources, enough money. But one thing is definitely very common is that they never give up. They keep moving, and they dare to chase their dreams. Yeah. So as Meenu said, guys, we will open it up for questions. Please feel free to unmute yourself, start your video, and shoot out the questions at Meenu if there are any. Let's see who we have got first. Chat. Okay. You can ask your questions, guys. Not on the chat. You can unmute yourself and ask.
Yeah, you can unmute yourself. You can turn on your video. You can ask a question and chat. This would have been a lovely session at Divine Hub. I'm glad a lot of people from different streams could be part of it. Yes, mother. I see my mother here. Do you have a question for me?
People were not wanting to ask question. I think you were exceptionally good or you were exceptionally bad. I still feel you were exceptionally good. I think they have understood it all. Okay. So
short and sweet presentation, very helpful.
Yep.
Well presented. Thank you so much. But if you have a question, even like anything you want to know about the brand, anything you want to, if you have an idea and you want some guidance on that.
I would just like you to know that I have noted the points that you were writing down, and it was very perfectly put up. I need to learn how to do this, the presentation part of it. I can talk, but I'm not so tech savvy as you could be. But let me say three things that when you said. One is building your brand, selling products should be well justified. Mm-hmm. I really like that line. And you said you are a business, never forget this. And the third point, which I really liked, is be sales obsessed and not cost obsessed. So these were the three key points I am taking from you. And thank you very much. It was very well, short and sweet, but perfect, concise. when we go in different directions, we sometimes don't get the right point. So this was perfect. This was very.
Thank you so much. It's easy to make a presentation. I think it's difficult to talk. So I think you have the right mix. So that's okay. And thank you so much for the feedback. And I just, do you already have a business?
I run a rehab center for drug addicts and alcohol.
Lovely. So I'm not sure if I could help, but
No,
maybe.
but any which ways, when I'm talking to a family and when I'm trying to convince them, it's a luxury rehab center,
Mhm.
and when they need to put in money, invest in the person getting better, it gets tough on some parents, even if they have money, because they have spent enough on the alcohol and drugs already. To give the niche kind of treatment, they find it difficult. So it will be good for me to explain and have these thoughts in my head, so that I'm compassionate enough where their problem is concerned. At the same time, I'm running a business, so I have to look at me too. So it works in both the scenario in a very good manner.
That's actually a very when they say if you're a freelancer, like if you're starting consulting, I always feel like, oh, she's my friend. You can have that information for free. Freelancers are that particular word is misused because they think that that particular gyan is for free. But you're running a business, even if it's a freelancer. That's something that, okay, can you set up a Facebook
I
page?
don't mind. In my business only, I'll talk. It's a very it's a human cause, right? So you can give freebies, as in the first session should be free, or maybe you have to see sometimes the economic condition of a person. But at times, yeah, you have to look at this side of the fence too, and try and strike a balance, because it's a human cause.
So that's another example of a brand with a cause, because um, they always say that you're good at something, you can sell this, and this is something I love. But another thing is that what really breaks your heart? For me, it's women who are not working. That breaks my heart. They want,
I agree.
probably they want to, but they. So at some point, Artery's journey would have employed somebody. It would have inspired somebody to go to work. They're seeing a whole lot of women in the community. They're talking to a lot of people. So your business is a very good example of something that's a brand with a cause, because there is that something that breaks your heart. I know that you're very passionate about that particular
Yeah,
cause.
it's a self journey too. Otherwise, the passion won't come in this line. So your journey has been comfortable to you. Mine has been working for my work. So we are very passionate about our work.
So
Compassion.
that compassion can come with. I'm saying that that can be one more thing when you make your business plan. Is there some cause that you really want to, that you can look in that particular area to discover if there is a spark there? That could be a business idea.
Right, right. So thank you again. I have a call at 6 o'clock, so I'll be leaving the meeting. Thank you, Ketan. Thank you, Rupal, for this. Thank you, Meenu. Bye.
Any other questions? Ketan?
Hi, Meenu. Thank you very much. It was a great session.
Thank you so much.
So I really enjoyed. Yeah, making a brand is a tough job, but I'll follow what you have said. So we'll try to. I mean, there is a brand, but I want to make it more popular. So I'll follow your steps.
Thank you so much. I'm glad I could be of help.
Thanks. Thank you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a question on Facebook, and somebody is asking, Komal is asking, how small can one start? I think she means investment point of view, I guess.
That's a very good question, because that's really not um, how small can I start in the sense, for example, in the case of your cab services, they never, like your Uber, never owned any of the cars, you know. So they run a business completely on people who own cars who can join in and drive, and they can give a commission, right? That's a service where there is really no investment. So if you ask me, you can start at zero.
Great. Okay, cool. Thank you. So any more questions? Otherwise, we are all good to wrap up the session. I believe we've got some. Have we got some chats coming in? No, those are the old ones. No worries, Meenu. Thank you very much for your time. It was a wonderful, wonderful session, and looking forward to do more and more such sessions with you. Thank you,
Absolutely.
everybody.
Thank you so much.
We are good to leave
Thank
the
you.
session now.
Oh.
Cool. Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.